Okay, back on our 61 here. So we're getting ready to replace these bushings here in the cover to fit these cams. So we're going to use one of these Jim's bushings here. Tighten up all our clearances. So the way you tell if you need to replace the bushing is when you go back and forth like this. That isn't too alpha bad. When you push straight down and go side to side, you get a clicking noise. Like that, you hear it moving. Then that means you got clear in it. So that translocks into a lot of gear noise, makes them sound like a gear grinder in here. So you place the bushings out, you don't have all those noises. So that's how you check them. So here's number 2. So I'm pushing down with it, so that's side to side clearance. Obviously this way you can make noise too, but that's different. Alright. Pinion bushing, take a new shaft and check it. Well, it actually doesn't feel too bad. With the U shaft it felt loose, with a new shaft doesn't feel too bad. So we might keep this one. Yeah. We're going to keep that one now. So you put a new shaft in it, now you don't have to replace the bushing. The shaft was worn, not the bushing. Good, saving money already. Alright, the other ones we're going to replace. Alright, let's get these out of here. That's 54 pinion bush, big twin pinion bush. And we can use this one here for the pinion that we're not going to change. So we're going to use that one. Okay, this one's for sportster cam and big twin pinion bush, early, 54. So this one's for big twins, this one here is made for sportsters. See how thin they are? For getting around the bushings. Need a deep well socket, 15/16. Now you want to make sure you don't lose your pin, dowel pin, so you take a pair of dikes here and pull it out. Voila. Don't lose it. We'll be putting that back in later. So you can see how this was cut bigger so the bushing would go over it. If you used the factory gems tool, it was too big, the bushing would not go over it. So when pull. Stings. The tool's been bent so much in from all years of using it. I need to take the bar here and turn this down in diameter so it'll fit up in there without me having to press it in so big. You can see how much it has to spread open to get that open in there. See, it pretty much stops right here. These are all bent to hell. And they're heat treated so they don't just go right back. Stings the finger there too. Probably another 100 bushings I'll have to fix it. Trigger stuck, locked onto my hand. The weight of the air impact is upside down on the trigger, holding it on. Makes it hard to shut it off when you're trying to hold on to it. Oh well. If I try this differently, it won't hurt my hand as much. Still got to beat on with a hammer though. But now I don't hurt my hand so much. So you gotta learn new ways of using your tools. Okay, that's it for that one. I gotta pull the number 2 bushing out, the big one. So this one, we use this one here. This is for electric start big bearing, primary cover bearing. It also fits cam bearings on the Sportsters. Same size. Except there ain't no damn way that's going to fit. That's too small. See, that must be for big twin cam bushing, not Sportster cam bushing. So that means we need something different again. I remember what I used. It's a big twin cam. That ain't big enough either. Alright. So, I'm going to pull that out. So, you can't use any of these tools for doing this. That'd be too easy. So I've got a slide hammer with a 2-jaw puller. This has a ball in here, inside of here, and as you turn it, it expands the teeth. Expands the jaws out like that. As you rotate this, grab the hold of it and you pull them out sometimes, not always. If they're in there really tight, they will not come out. With this tool anyway. With these different tools. Let's see the tool I need. Look out here. It's coming. There you go, we lucked out, it came out. There you go. They don't always come out that easy. This only works about maybe 50% of the time at most. Usually not too happy with it. In this case, it worked. That's why you gotta have a selection of tools available. Not necessarily what they're made for either. Okay, so now we got cover all our bushings out. So now you go clean the oil and grease out of here, and then I can put the new bushings in. We'll get back. I got the cover all cleaned up. I went ahead and marked the where the dowels go with the fill tip marker. So that is where you don't drill, because we're going to have to drill. I'm going to light one out again. These have to be drilled for the dowel pins, which are look like that when you're done. So you don't want to try to drill in the same hole. It just isn't going to happen. So you just go to a different area. So anywhere that's not there. So usually I go a long ways from that one on the next edge. So I'll put something up in this area up in here. And so anywhere that's just not where you drilled now is fine. So these we're just going to put some Loctite on these and beat them in, and then we'll pin them. Now if you notice, these are a little bit smaller diameter than these ones over here. Jim's doesn't make them big like these ones are, see? So they're a little bit smaller. So these are a lot thinner diameter. That's just how they're made. We're still going to have to notch it probably right here on the edge for the other can, but we'll be close. We still have to notch it though. Okay, so let's see, on this one here, the oil hole is below the bushing, so you don't have to drill the bushing. On a big twin, you got to put a hole through the bushing. So this one we don't. So I'm just going to knock them in. I got my drivers right here. We'll just drive them with a hammer. Do that. And it should just go right together, no problem. At least that's the plan. Use sleeve retainer Loctite. So just put some inside the hole here. I already cleaned all the oil and grease out of here. So nice and clean right now. Now Harley quit using pins in around 80. For sure by 82. And they just use sleeve retainer Loctite, that's all they use. So you can do that, not pin them if you want. I still usually prefer pinning. Okay, you got an oil groove, make sure you put that up so it'll drip feed into it. Make sure it starts. So I just use my driver here. Use the light hammer for now. Got to go up in size, we'll go up in size. Get it all the way down there. One more time just to make sure. You want to look at the edge of the bush, make sure it's even all the way around and pushed against the cover and not a high spot anywhere. So that one looks like it's in there all the way, like it's supposed to be. So that one's good. So now we just do the other ones the same way. Trying to put a Loctite inside the oil hole. Not a good plan. Just wipe a nice even layer all the way around the bush. You don't need to be dripping on, you just need a nice layer all the way around. That's plenty to do the whole bushing. Like that. Looks like there might be a little bit of a gap right there, maybe. Sounded like it was all the way down, no, but we'll just give one more just to make sure. Looks the same, so I'm guessing it's all the way down. Okay, do the next one. These three bushings are all the same. Well, number 2 is different. So give it nice firm hits. You don't try to grill it and do it in one hit. So you want to make sure it goes in straight, not sideways. See how it's all in there pretty good. Okay, those ones are done. We get number 2 bush. Go. I do make these bushings in 5/0 if you need them, so if they go on there loose, you get bigger bushings. Okay, that one looks good. Oop. Careful, you can see it. It's this one here. I could see it fine, but not where you were at. Okay, so those are all in there now. Make sure all the bushings are still all the way in. They might, concussion way, they might bounce up on you, so you gotta double check, make sure they're all down. So they all look good. Okay, we're gonna check the idler while we're at it here. I didn't do that. The idler bushing's this one. It's not really that important, but when it's too loose, it could be a problem. Now this one, I don't care if there's a little bit of click. There's a little bit in there, because all it does is run the generator, so it's not really that important. So that's good enough. That one could be a little bit looser than the other ones. Okay. Now, hopefully the cams have to be fitted. These are gems, so they got the smallest holes of all the bushings, but it doesn't leave much for reaming, obviously. I usually like to wedge them in there a little bit, just to make sure they're tight. Yeah, that one's in there too tight, I can't get it out. There we go. That burnishes in. I don't know if you see the burnish mark in there. That's where it's really smooth. So we're trying to expand the bushing into the cover to make sure it is a tight fit. So obviously that's a tight fit. So this one here goes almost all the way in. It did go all the way in. Give it a light hit in the 4 different directions. And try to get it out. Hard on the hand. Rag's not very thick. Double it up. Damn. It's hard on the wrist on him. It's rotating, but it's not coming out. There we go. Actually, that expands the bushing a little bit bigger, a little tighter. Make sure there's no undercutting in there, because when you put something in there, it can beat in sideways a little bit and squeeze the bushing. When you swedge it back out, it's full size out. That's what you want. See, this one won't even begin to go in there. Yep, that one's not going to go in at all. Okay, the last one, number 2. It's not going to go in either. They went in about that far. Just enough to leave a mark. Okay, so those aren't going to go any tighter than they are. So I'm going to go ahead and drill them for our pins. So these are 1/8 inch diameter and they're 1/4 inch tall. So you got to go in and use an 1/8 inch drill bit, or use a 120 drill bit. I forget what number that is, but I'll go look it up. That way you should have about a 3 to 4 thou press fit when you beat these in. And you want to make sure that the pin goes below the surface. So you go down, make sure you go down a little bit. These sometimes vary in height, but they should be 1/4 inch. This one's 254, 5 over. So you always want to make sure you go down a little bit deeper, but not much, just a little bit deeper. You know, another 15, 20 thou max. The bushing's usually only about 60 thou thick or so, to maybe as much as 90, but these are about 60. So if you go too deep, you'll go through the bottom of it and it won't do anything. That'd be a bad thing. Okay, let me go set up for the mill. We'll be back.